back to basics. We know it is here, but I wonder if others know back to basics is here. Anyhow, here we are, happily going on, number 500 and something, maybe, or back to basics.
625 now.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't even know. I was so old that we'd done 625. All right, dear devotees, let's begin with some remembrance of the Lord, the dispenser of Krishna Prema, and the object, as it were, of Krishna Prema, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, as Srila Prabhupada always reminds us. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitangscha. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvije Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhaktivarinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Well, with the passage of time, all sorts of things happen, and it's the world of birth, it's the world of death, but it's also the world of disease and war and accident. And these things are happening day by day, and our devotees also, they are subject to these different kinds of environments of the negative world. We have our eye set on the upper world, but still we have to admit or accept we are within the material environment for the time being. So in this world, we can theoretically understand many things, but when the adversities and the realities that are pointed out in the scripture about birth, death, old age, and disease, when those realities come on our doorstep, as it were, then from theory, knowing about we're not the body, knowing about taking shelter of Krishna, we get that step to reality of really having to adjust ourselves to the environment, which may be very difficult. But the overall result of our birth in this material world is suffering, having a material body, identifying with the material body, because we have to lose it. And this week we have news from one of our devotees who is in a difficult position health-wise, but was very healthy, and then suddenly finding themselves not being very healthy. In fact, 2 devotees this week. So always we know that sitting right beside us, there is the misfortune of disease, accidents, and all the other things that take place. But as Srila Gurudev also points out, sitting right beside us is death, waiting for its moment to come and take us. So we must be very aware that all of our enjoying attempts in this world really are futile, and we need to seriously address the underlying problem of being in the world, and that is how to address that to be a good devotee, to be a sincere seeker, to put ourselves in the hand of the Lord and his servitors. So theory and practice, we get good wisdom. And Nazar was with us yesterday evening during the Italian Zoom, where the theme was Buddhi Yoga, the yoga of wisdom, translated into English, something like that. But we need good intelligence to help us to follow the path towards our proper home. And it's not that our intelligence is just going to make us jump into that land. It's so that we can follow the path to our home. So this is back to basics. And we need to really be aware that we are not living in that land that Rupa Goswami describes, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and so many describe, that Lord Brahma describes in Brahma Samhita. We're not living in the upper world. And so we must understand we're on the journey there. So if we're not living there, then wherever we are, we're on the journey to that place. So the journey home, the journey is our important part where we are to give attention and to keep up our enthusiasm. Then we hear again and again about the glories of Vrindavan Dham and the land of beauty, sweetness and charm, which is our proper home. So for the time being, we need to try to journey upwards. And the only way to do that is to follow in the footsteps, to follow the guidance of the great acharyas who've gone before, whose only wish is for our relief, our not only relief, but our nourishment and satisfaction. So we are together here in the journey department. And we have two devotees here with us. Oh, I should turn on the Facebook. We're broadcasting on Facebook. Let me just turn on Facebook, because last week there are devotees who watch the Facebook and sometimes questions come there. So let me just quickly turn on Facebook. Back to basics on Facebook with the sound off. Okay. Let's see. Krishna, Krishna. Uh-oh, somebody's live. Indumati, there you are. Indumati's there on Facebook. Indumati, happy to have you with us. And she's giving obeisances to all you dear devotees. She's giving obeisances to you all. So I'm happy. I remember to turn on Facebook then. And others are there, but we can't tell unless somebody types in a little message. Who is there? So two of our devotees here in front of us who have got the camera on. Oh, look, Tiger is with us. Tiger is with us on the metro in London, by the looks of it, on the London Underground. But two other devotees are here in the kitchen. And so talking about the path homeward, one prominent part of that path is cooking for Krishna and honoring prasadam from Krishna. So I just have a gentle question. I know Ishwarananda Prabhu is in the London kitchen, but Lavanyamai of Latvia, did you return to Latvia or are you still in London?
No, Maharaj, I am back to Latvia.
Back to Latvia. And Hari Gopal Prabhu?
He's still in London.
Okay, but not in the kitchen. All right.
No.
Okay. So yes, so a fundamental part of our journey home is to honor prasadam, to only live on the remnants of the Lord and his devotees. And this is the solution that is very practical for us all, because we all need to eat. And we all have the desire to eat, especially when we're hungry, and the desire to taste things. So to use these fundamental basic desires of our life in devotional service is a very fundamental, very at the root of our journey home, in the sense that animal consciousness is the desire to eat and the desire to taste, but devotional consciousness, Krishna consciousness, is the desire to feed the Lord and to accept with gratitude and appreciation the Lord's remnants. So, two devotees in the kitchen in our Zoom online here, and that's a good sign to remind us to only take prasadam. And if you have to eat in a restaurant at some time, and we know sometimes devotees do, and that way, even then, before you take the meal, and this should be an exception rather than the rule, that you eat in a restaurant, but even if you do, then before you actually take the food that's in front of you, make a prayer to Srila Govinda Maharaj. And Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, has already promised, if you offer to him your food in a restaurant with love and affection, he will accept it. So Krishna is saying, Krishna says, if you offer me, Krishna, with your prepared items, fruit, flower, leaf, water like this, I will accept it. But Gurudev has also said, if you offer me your restaurant food, if there's no other way that you have to eat in a restaurant, then I will accept it. And he said that to one of our dear devotees who does travel and be away from home for their job. And she said to Gurudev, Gurudev, I'm always taking prasadam at home, I always cook, but I go out, and when I'm out in my job, then really we have to take something. I can't cook, it's not practical, I have to take something in the restaurant. But, and she said, but Gurudev, I want to offer everything, but nowadays, this is in America, in the restaurants, usually you can't get a meal without onions and garlic. And so how can I offer? And then Gurudev smilingly saying, no problem. You may not be able to offer to Krishna, but you can offer to me. I will accept it. So that's a very gracious glance from Srila Gurudev to the devotees. Gurudev is very practical. So, prasadam, prasadam, prasadam. If we can honor prasadam, then we've practically conquered the whole. Almost exactly Srila Gurudev's words, because our animal tendency is there within what we eat when we are consuming, but our devotional tendency is there, is when we honor what has been offered to the Lord. So, along with prasadam, the holy name, the holy name, the holy name. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. So it is all sweet and beautiful. And as we know, and as Tiger, he's a newcomer. He's been in our programs in London. He's in the public programs and came to the temple. And he's so happy to know that we can honor prasadam, that we can have a wonderful meals, which I think may be the best meals that he's had in his life. I can guess, because certainly when I came to the temple, I can consider I got the best meals I'd ever had in my life, because the devotee cooks, they're cooking with love for Krishna. And so we are all feeling kind of some happiness that we can take, we can utilize our eating in a service mood and not just think we have to be renounced and live on air and water and the leaves that fall from the tree. Hare Krishna. So this week, Ramasundar Prabhu, we're going to ask you first. So you need to share something. It's back to basics. And you can continue on the theme of cooking for Krishna, or you may give us some other reflections on keeping up our appreciation and enthusiasm, the basics of our devotional life. Ram Sundar Prabhu.
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat, dear devotees. Well, the theme of prasadam we were reading just a bit ago in our morning program, I think again from the Divine Servitor. And Gurudev was basically expressing what you just quoted from him saying that, conquering the whole, if we can properly honor prasadam. And yeah, he was just elaborating more on that point and stressing it more that, we may see grains, rice, dal, etc., but it's once it's offered, obviously, then it becomes transcendental, and then we should be having this consciousness that we're serving the Lord's remnants. And then, yeah, like Mara said, if we can do this properly, then the whole is conquered, more or less. But I guess in the theme of keeping up enthusiasm, this is I think a constant meditation, and it's reminding me of when Maharaj was here in Thailand. We watched one video of Gurudev, and or it was an audio, I can't remember exactly. But Gurudev was saying, stressing about sadhana, that without sadhana, how can you expect any result, basically? How can you expect anything without sadhana? Because we are obviously practitioners, so we need a healthy structure, and that sadhana will naturally give you enthusiasm. And sometimes, like I think maybe from non-devotees, they always want to question this and, oh, why are you vegetarian, why you do all these different things. And I think a good example is like maybe Sudarshan would give about an athlete, that no one questions, oh, like an athlete doesn't take these types of foods anymore. No one questions the athlete has to get up every day, go running, training all the time. So like this, if you are desiring a certain, goal, then there's just natural things you have to do. And sadhana is the most fundamental thing, because you always need, like Maharaj also says, that we have to eat to maintain our body. So we have to eat spiritually to maintain all these enthusiasm, these different things that are desirable, obviously, for spiritual life. But the best is the program, obviously. The programs are very, very nourishing and give you a lot of fortification. And especially straight in the morning, the first thing you do, chanting japa, then you're singing arti, and then straight into more kirtans, and then some reading. It's you start the day off with that. It's very hard to go off course, because you just had such a strong rooting for starting off the day. And then you end the day with the same thing. It's even better, because you're going to sleep with all those, that whole meditation of the evening program in your head. And then, you're going to have a more auspicious sleep period than just, complete darkness of, turning the lights off. And sometimes, if you're fortunate, you may have some devotional dream, which is even better. Then you're having some
24/7.
Yeah, some conscious reflection at least. It's better than nothing. So, but yeah, I mean, like Gurudev said, how can we expect any results without the sadhana? So, and these things, at some point, they become like you want to do them. They're not just like forced, oh, I need to do this. This is good for me, you know, and you have to like push through and do it, but you can't, you know, it feels bad if you don't have these things. It's it's scary. It's like terrifying actually without having this constant remembrance. And we were just singing to Budget Hare before the Zoom. And that's actually the one of the first devotional things I ever heard in my life, because I was in art class back in high school with Vinodini, and she painted that line on my art paper for whatever. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? And then she explained that, you know, your life is like a drop on a lotus petal, and at any moment can, you know, without any signal or whatever, just finish and fall off. And so that's a good reminder that, you know, I mean, it's like Mars just said also, that death is sitting right next to you, just waiting. So it's a terrifying idea to not be doing, you know, something to progress and go upwards on the journey, and just, you know, just be sitting and waiting for death. It's very, like Guru Maharaj says, that we're in a very dangerous position. So, yeah. And one thing also that I think either Guru Maharaj or Gurudev saying that we want to be part of the upward carrying current. And then Guru Maharaj says that to exploit means to go down, or to enjoy means to go down. So that's also a nice thing to think about, that, you know, obviously we don't want to go down, we want to go up and be a part of the upward carrying current. So that's some contribution to the enthusiasm and etc.
And Srila Guru Maharaj would say, and Srila Prabhupada, I'm not sure if I heard Gurudev say it, but to the effect of, we have so many lives, and so many lives we've had. Just give this one life for Krishna consciousness. Why chew the chew? Why try to get satisfaction from things we've tried to get satisfaction from life after life after life, only to end in frustration because we lose the body along with all of its material senses, material everything. Yes, and I wish we'd had school friends in school who were actual friends of us, who told us something about Krishna consciousness and some reality of this world by writing a verse on our whatever it was, mathematics book or art paper. That's a good friend to have. Jai. Okay. Leela Moy Prabhu, over to you. The Brahmachari twins.
One good Madhanava Pranams, all of you. A good thing also that I'm always trying to remember, it is that we need the association of the most desperate ones, that we need to be contaminated with this enthusiasm about the most desperate ones, that they really want to be with in Goloka Vrindavan in service. And to be in this association, it helps a lot. And this is like a disease, and spread and more, and with the right guidance, and it becomes very, very beautiful to see. And in this prasad subject, we watched a video today that Srila Govinda Maharaj was talking. Someone mentioned about the Muri pastimes with Prabhupada, and he mentioned that it was he gave some details that Muri, it was in the daily prasad of Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. And this is a very, very interesting. And this divine servitor, he mentioned also that one of the favorites prasad of Srila Guru Maharaj was Muri also. And this is like a current of Muri. And it's really amazing to see that this mood of everyone in the same line of the Muri, Muri Sampradaya. Yeah, basically, we are very, every day it's really a new topic for us here. We are having a lot of discussions, a lot of different themes. It's very nice to be with the devotees that you can really share the same thoughts without any restrictions, and to get nourished by mostly by their knowledge. And this is a very way to keep our life also, always keep the nourishment in evidence in our life. We were trying to discuss some topics relate with Guru Tattva. It's a very complex, and we were reading Sri Guru and His Grace in the evenings, and having a lot of amazing discussions and everything. I think more or less in those lines.
By the way, I was happy to hear also, I'm happy to hear what you're saying, but also from Ram Sundar Prabhu, that to chant before going to bed also, then it is very good. And that time also is very good. Easily you can fall asleep while chanting. So try not to chant in your bed, but to chant, and especially if you haven't yet chanted 16 rounds, I mean, it is a nice time to chant. It's actually, again, it is peaceful. The early morning is peaceful, and the evening, after the evening time, is peaceful. But of course, the staying awake part is a little more difficult than in the morning. But at least then you go to bed after being surrounded by the holy name, and the evening program is also telling us some leela and some prayers within the kirtan, etc. Now I have a question for Seva Rupa. It's not what are you drinking in your cup. It is, did you know who I was talking about when I gave the story of one lady in America asked Gurudev about offering food in a restaurant? Or how can I offer? Did you know who I was talking about? You did? Okay. Because I see Sevarup has put a quote, or it's from an article. She's put in the chat box an article by Brinda Devi Dasi of Venezuela. It was she who asked to Srila Gurudev about this eating in a restaurant. So I know you're at work and you're getting paid for watching, but are you able to read this without getting fired?
By your grace, Gurudev, try to all devotees, Dandavats. Okay, yes, I did remember you were talking about Vrinda Devi, but it so happened that when I searched, then this article came up, and it's also on the MAT website, and it's just an excerpt from it, but it says, so she wrote the article, and a piece of that says, then we had an extraordinary prasadam feast made by the Malaysian devotees. Especially Jai Shri Didi's cooking made everyone very happy as they were honoring prasadam. Truly, not even a 5-star restaurant could one find such a spread. And later on, Srila Gurudev declared Paramananda Prabhu's house, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and said that from here our mission will expand all the way to Japan. Everybody is very happy, especially to see Sri Gurudev looking well and pleased to be here. And this was, does it give me a date? Yeah, I'm not so sure, but it says 1995, but no, I don't think that was when, but yeah, it's an article by Vrinda Devi. And it's Srila Guru Govinda Maharaj arrives in Bangkok, the start of his 23rd world tour.
Yeah. Not 1995. This is
No.
2007 approximately. But pretty much it's 2007. Yes, well done. So there's the prasadam part. And by the way, today's Abhiram Thakur's disappearance day, right? Disappearance or appearance? Who's going to tell me? It's the disappearance, yes. And there were many associates. There were many associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all kinds of associates. You know, Madhu Mangal, who, oh no, okay, wrong, I've gone to Krishna Lila. Okay, never mind. Many associates of Mahaprabhu, all kinds of associates, still it is true. And somehow Srila Guru Maharaj has selected, so is it like one of those associates, Abhiram Thakur, his disappearance day is known, and he's in the calendar for this day. And we could think, well, the calendar could be extremely long with all these associates of Mahaprabhu, which are listed as the Parshads of Mahaprabhu, and then there's another list which is the Parshads of Nityananda Prabhu. But there is the description in a purport in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, which gives a little news about Abhiram Thakur, and it's short, and I thought I would just read that for today also. And so this is Adi Leela chapter 11. And then there's a description here. So first of all, we can say Jai to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, and Jai to the author, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki Jai. But one verse, Sri Ramadasa Ara Gadadhara Dasa Chaitanya Gosaira Bhakta Rohe Tara Pasha. So some of you by now are catching most or some of the Bengali at least. So here, two devotees of Lord Chaitanya named Sri Ramadas and Gadadhar Das always lived with Sri Virabhadra Gosai. And Virabhadra, you know, it's one of the sons of Nityananda Prabhu, Virabhadra. And Guru Maharaj describes him as being even more merciful than Nitai. So it is a great wonder. And I certainly wonder, you know, just how could anyone be more merciful than Nityananda Prabhu? But this is a description of Virabhadra, the son of Nityananda. But the purport is quite short, telling us about Abhiram Thakur, because in this verse we heard of Sri Ramadas and Gadadhar Das. And Gadadhar Das is also in our calendar, by the way, as well as, of course, Gadadhar Pandit. But Gadadhar Das and Ramadas were listed here as being constant associates of Virabhadra. So I'll read the purport. So the purport's by Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. So Sri Ramadas, later known as Abhiram Thakur, was one of the 12 Gopalas, or cowherd boyfriends of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. The Gaura Ganodesha Deepika, which is the book which gives a parallel identity of those in Mahaprabhu's Leela and those in Krishna Leela. So the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika states that Sri Ramadas was formerly Sri Dama in Krishna Leela. In the Bhakti Ratnakara, fourth wave, there is a description of Srila Abhiram Thakur. By the order of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Abhiram Thakur became a great acharya and preacher of the Chaitanya cult of devotional service. He was a very influential personality, and non-devotees were very much afraid of him. Empowered by Sri Nityananda Prabhu, he was always in ecstasy and was extremely kind to all fallen souls. It is said that if he offered obeisances to any stone other than a shalagram shila, it would immediately fracture. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhasya, which is his commentary on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. See, this is a description of where he lived and describing which railway line to take, where to get off the train, where to walk to. And then you get to a temple. The temple where Abhiram Thakur worshipped is situated in Krishna Nagar, which is near the bank of the Kana, the Dwarakeshwar river. Therefore, this place is celebrated as Kanakula Krishna Nagar. And outside the temple is a bokal tree, which gives the tiny little flowers, which are super fragrant. And sometimes devotees would get those tiny flowers and make a thick garland for Srila Gurudev. Thick, quite thick, take a long, long time to make that garland. But outside the temple is a bokal tree. And this place is known as Siddha Bokul Kunja. It is said that when Abhiram Thakur came there, he sat down under this tree in Kanakula Krishna Nagar, that place. There is a big fair. There is a big fair, a big festival held every year in the month of Chaitra. So, yes. The temple where Abhiram Thakur worshipped has a very old history. The temple is known as Gopinath. There are many Saivite families living near the temple. It is said that Abhiram Thakur had a whip. This is the part I was looking for. Had a whip, and that whoever he touched with it would immediately become an elevated devotee of Krishna. Among his many disciples, Sriman Srinivasacharya was the most famous and the most dear. But it is doubtful that he was his initiated disciple. So you see, in those days too, there wasn't all this strictness about who's your guru, who's your guru, who's your guru. Where is your faith? Where is the faith of the person? So interesting, this is from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur saying that among Abhiram Thakur's many disciples, Sriman Srinivasacharya was the most famous and the most dear. But it is doubtful that he was his initiated disciple. So anyhow, there we are. And it was a bit about the whip that I was coming to, because everybody seems to like that idea that he had a whip. And there it says, whoever he touched with his whip. How do we touch someone with a whip? That we have to think about that. We'll only know if we're allowed to enter into the pastimes and see for ourselves. And he may have touched different people in different ways with his whip. Hare Krishna. Govinda, Govinda. And Dana, our morning here must have been in the middle of the night for you. And I did ask at that time if you had anything you'd like to share or say. And maybe now is a better time for you. If you do wish to say anything or share something, we'll be happy to hear. Because you're hanging on in there, Dana. You're staying with the devotees. You're coming into the Zoom. So you're having the association. And that's a good sign. It's a good sign for everybody. And you know how difficult is the world, but you also know that Krishna consciousness is the solution. Yes, Dana.
Thank you for saying this so much. I needed to hear this today. I'm so grateful for this Sangha, for you, for this community, for all of these devotees, because yes, you're right. I'm hanging in there, and the world is a challenge, and it's this tether back to you guys are my tether. You're my, yeah, I'm so grateful with all of my heart every day and just hearing your voice and everyone else here, and Yes, so my deepest gratitudes. I don't have any bright wisdom to share today. I don't know if I ever really do, but having anything to really bring to the enlightening conversation, but there's just such pure gratitude. Thank you very much.
You are bringing something to the conversation. You're bringing yourself. So we appreciate that. Dharmake. Keep on hanging in there. Keep on following the practices. As we said at the beginning, we are realistic. We're on our journey home. We are not yet at home, but we're with our home family. And this is very hopeful. And Mathura Basini Devirasi, welcome. She's joined us on Facebook. And Annutama Devirasi, well, she's been with us for a while. She joined us after we did our earlier greetings. She's joined us here on Zoom. And Muktinath Prabhu, somewhere on planet Earth. We never know quite where he'll turn up on planet Earth, but somewhere around he is. All right, from any quarter, would anyone like to make an additional contribution or a question? We have Aparajita with us from Bangkok. And what was I reading in Bangkok, about Bangkok? I was reading something very recently. Anyway, wonderful. And today we heard from Brinda, we heard that excerpt that Sevarupa read out about Gurudev in the ashram there, named the ashram in Bangkok. And Gurudev, we know he was very happy there, and he was so much at home, and so much at home that he was prepared and about to go to Bangkok to spend his last days on planet Earth, by the way, under the shelter of Paramananda Prabhu and Krishna Priya Devi Rasi. And just at the very last minute, the evening before, due to some things happening in India, then that flight was cancelled. But that was going to be his final destination, was Bangkok. So it is a special place. And not Bangkok city, but the Bangkok devotees means Paramananda Krishna and Krishna Priya. Special place in Gurudev's heart. We know it from Gurudev, and his heart is a special heart. Then I think Krishna Priya Devidansi, after that embarrassment. Devotees know how to embarrass each other. Today, here in Villa Govinda Ashram, we're back in Italy. And today it was our French devotee, Balaram Prabhu. He's here and very helpful, useful devotee. But somehow somebody found out it's his birthday today. So anyway, he was suitably embarrassed, and the devotees made a cake for him and sang songs to him in Italian. So devotees know how to embarrass each other. But what sweet hearts of the devotee towards the devotees. So Krishna Priya Devirasi, would you like to make a contribution today? You can share something of Gurudev. You were with him. You know a lot about Srila Gurudev. Actually.
Oh, Maharaj. Dandavat Maharaj and Dandavat all the devotee. When you said topic about Govinda Maharaj, it's very like so many things, and we have very short time to share also. There's so many story about Govinda Maharaj. But the first time when he came to Bangkok, somehow like I basically I can say like I newcomer, and then I just know the devotee as my friends. But Gurudev shows so many mercy. At that moment, I was very stupid and I don't know how great stuff like he came and how mercy he is. And
And now I feel like, oh my God, I can't digest the whole thing, what's going on, like pastime of Gurudev. Like how much mercy, like how potency and mercy, and he give it not only to me, it's all of like devotee, all his disciple, his grand disciple. It's so much thing to say about Gurudev. It's so beautiful somehow. Like one day I was thinking I want to write everything in the book, right? Like in the book, how's it's experience or how's Govinda Maharaj, and I really want to share in the, in the writing. Maybe it's more expressed because like if I saying, maybe my English also is not proper. But somehow it's just mercy, man. I can't stop about thinking of how mercy of Gurudev to all of everyone also. So sweet, so sweet. But in the same time, he was very firm. Even though his physical is quite, I can say his physical, mundane physical is very like tired, weak, getting sick. But in his always in his consciousness is always strength. He always like strength, really like firm all the time. That's how I observe all the time. This is very, very good example for all of us. Even though you have some physical like weak sometimes because we are, get sick sometimes. But he say in the devotionals, like consciousness, you always have to very like strong, give strength to yourself, even though you're like weak in the physical. But here, always have to be strong and strong in the consciousness, and then everything will be success. This is one video we was watching about Govinda Maharaj. He was mentioned about this, that here have to be firm and get strength on your consciousness, and then everything will be okay, success on your practice. That's how I also see him when he was in Thailand. That's why I was like, wow, I really like love this personality in this acharya. That's why I was so fell to him. Something like that, Maharaj. That's it's a little bit of Govinda Maharaj I can share. Just a little bit of him. It's fine, Dhanawad.
His firmness was a big bit of him. This is Srila Gurudev, very firm, very straight. And you can see that those last years, in fact, when he was talking, how much energy he has to spend over and above like the normal energy in order to express what he wants to say to the devotees. And he gave his time. You will have seen that in Bangkok, no doubt, that we can think he should be resting, but he's taking minimum rest. And he's telling to me when we're in Navadi, where we're trying to like regulate a little bit, devotees will come at a certain time to meet Gurudev, and he had his times when he did not want to be disturbed because he needs some time for his energy, for considering so many things about the management of the ashram, but the management of the devotees different challenges that they bring to Gurudev. So he needs his own time. But in the last days or the last couple of years, basically, Gurudev said they're coming all the way to see me. Then, yes, they can come anytime like this. And so more or less, he gave his all energy for the nourishment of the devotees, and over and above what normally you could think he would have, even though he was so weak, he gave his energy. But Krishna Priya Devanasi, we also saw him when he had strong physical form, strong physical body, and a good, strong, loud voice to make his very strong mind known to those who especially were doing something wrong. We've heard the roaring from our little office at that time, which was that still the same house at the front, the Paschatya Seva Bhavan. We've heard the roaring coming from over at Gurudev's Acharya Bhavan downstairs outside near the kitchen, and thinking, is this thunder? No, it's Govinda Maharaj setting straight some devotee. And what Gurudev could really, I mean, you can say cannot tolerate, they can tolerate everything. But what they are furious about is when Krishna's money is misused. When what comes into the temple, anything is wasted, anything is misused. Brahmachari, or not brahmachari in different cases, but devotees in the temple, saying they're spending 2,000 rupees on vegetables, but they're only spending 1,500 and putting 500 in the pocket. Things like this, that would disturb Gurudev greatly. If we want to do for ourselves, the whole world is open. This is what the Grihastha ashram is for. You live your independent life, but the dependent life, don't keep anything. And so I have seen Guru Maharaj very angry at a devotee. I've seen Gurudev very angry at a devotee. Not a devotee. I mean, I've seen Guru Maharaj angry different times. I've seen Gurudev angry at different times. But it is always with some very solid reason. Who will be in the temple should be a proper devotee and not any other interest in mind. So we have seen Gurudev with his strong mind and his strong body. But that strong mind and strong body always had that beautiful soft heart. Really it did. Really. Hare Krishna. Aparajita does want to say something, I'm sure of it. No? Looks like you do. No. Okay, then we can ask to any of you, but because you've got who's got the camera on gets first priority because you've got the camera on. So Lavanya Mai, you have your camera on. You're very brave. Now back in Latvia, she survived the sudden London festival. It wasn't a London festival, but suddenly we had a London festival going on, like bigger than some of the retreats we go to. It happened just automatically. And Lavanya survived, and she was in the kitchen, she was serving, she was doing so many things. She was not on a lazy person's holiday, she was on holy days of seva. Lavanya Moidi, a few words from you in English, please. I know you're still learning, but you know how to express.
Dandavad. I actually have one question because we talk about that when we cook, we offer it for Krishna, but I'm not feeling like I am so qualified to make something for Krishna. And usually when I'm cooking, I'm offer it for Guru and asking for help that he helped me offer to Krishna and help me to satisfy Vaishnavas, but not for Krishna. Is that okay?
Yes, it's okay, because actually the devotees are our nearest, and Krishna, we know he's there, we know we're offering to him, but we do all this through the devotees. The devotees, we know, we can understand the devotees. And Krishna, he's a little distant for us, even though he's in our hearts. And what idea have we got of Krishna? Maybe right, maybe wrong. But the devotees, they're our safe shelter. And yes, please do so. And you got a tip today. that if you have to eat outside somewhere, offer to Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he will accept. And another thing, when you're in the temple, like you were in London, when you're cooking and when you're helping to cook, you're helping the cooks who are experts. The older devotees have got more practice to cook for the Lord, cook for the devotees. And so we are helping the servants. We are the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, like this. And then the tips that we get, the things we learn while we are engaged in the service in the temples, like there in London, then we try to keep that same standard at home. That ideal, at least, we'll keep on our heads.
Thank you.
Jai Hare Krishna. And now Priya Krishna Devidasi. What will you? I was going to call on you to help with the Russian translation if it was necessary, but Lavanya Moy's English now becoming very good. You may need to come closer to the microphone. Loud.
Dandavats Maharaj, I'm so happy to see you. And I'm so happy to see everyone. Dandavats, dear devotees. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm just experiencing this lot of gratitude to be in devotees family. You know, Maharaj, after being separated for so long, it feels like very, very extreme. Like, wow, I'm with devotees again. It's so great. And yeah, that is pretty much it. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to reconnect again. That's so beautiful. Thank you, Maharaj. And yeah, I don't know. Everybody already said everything. What we've been doing recently, what we've been listening recently. So yes.
Okay, it's all good. Try to remember not to forget the devotees. Hare Krishna. And Nazar also is brave with the camera on. He's always very quiet. But Nazar, he hears so many things. So it's hearing, remembering, and chanting. You can share something you've heard because you've been in many of the Zooms and the classes, etc. And by the way, I did not get the chance to hear yesterday's class by Devashish on chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. Maybe you can share something with us. Were you in that class? Oh, no. Okay, but you can share something from some other class you were in, online, if you wish.
Dandavats Maharaj, devotees. I liked very much your question about how Prahlad Maharaj was expecting to see Narayana or Vishnu. That he was not expecting it will be Nrisimhadev, and also maybe we should also be just in mood of prayer, but not expecting something specific.
Yes. Interesting. And how Krishna may come to protect Nazar, who knows what form he may take. But the main thing is to recognize him when he comes.
I hope.
Hare Krishna. So I can see our brahmachari twins are looking at each other, wondering what you're referring to. Earlier today, we reflected upon the thought that Prahlad Maharaj, he's worshipping Narayan, he's worshipping God as his, giving us all protection. And generally we understand that he's worshipping to Narayan. He knows Krishna, he knows God as the Supreme Lord. And in general, we can say this is the Vishnu, Narayan conception. And Prahlad Maharaj take full shelter of the Lord in every circumstance. But generally, as we know from the Ramanuja Sampradaya, from Mahaprabhu's experience in South India, then it's the awe and reverence and the just the protection. I'm under the Lord's protection, and the four-armed form of the Lord is very obviously the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's very grand, and he's God. I mean, he's God. More difficult to understand that Krishna is God, as we find out. However, he fully has faith in the Lord. Absolutely, he's got faith in the Lord. He's telling his school friends about the Lord when they're very young. And of course, this disturbed his father. But always, he's just got this in his heart because he heard from Narada Muni while he was still in his mother's womb. And he remembered what he'd heard. And then he's worshipping the Lord, taking full shelter, and he's only thinking about the Lord, and he's completely detached from the world. So he doesn't really care about the elephants trying to trample him or anything. He's not okay. Nothing happens, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord, and nothing happens to him. But when that final angry behavior of his father, Hiranyakashipu, happened, and then it was like very dramatic, then it was his father who was so angry and is going to chop up his son with a sword, and then smashing, hitting the pillar, say, "You are always on about your Lord, God, God. I am the Supreme, not God. What is this about God?" Does it sound familiar in this world? Okay. Anyway, Hiranyakashipu then struck the pillar with a sword. And then when Prahlad Maharaj in such danger and is going to be killed by he who should be protecting him most of all, the father of a child is the place where you will get protection. Then the Lord came out of the pillar. But was Prahlad Maharaj expecting half of a lion and half of a man, that Krishna will take that form and come out of the pillar? I think he was probably quite surprised also, but he recognized, oh, this is my Vishnu, my Lord, come in this form, because my dad's such a monster. But then, after all that, Prahlad Maharaj being Prahlad Maharaj, he pacified Lord Nrsingadev after Nrsingadev had killed Hiranyakashipu, and, by the way, garlanded himself with Hiranyakashipu's intestines, because, as Gurudev said very beautifully, he said, the Lord, he's been very heroic. He had a good fight, a good battle, and Hiranyakashipu, he was victorious over him. He killed him. So then the Lord is thinking, I deserve a garland, but no one's garlanding me. So he pulls out the intestines of Hiranyakashipu, garlands himself, and Gurudev very beautifully telling this description. I don't know if he's heard this from somewhere else or not. I've only heard this kind of a idea from Gurudev. But Prahlad Maharaj, he pacified the Lord. He had no fear. He knows this is his Lord. He's come heroically himself as half man and half lion. So he knew that he was his Lord, and he had no fear of him. Rather, he came to the Lord. Oh, my wonderful Lord. But I think he was quite surprised to see his dear Lord coming as half man and half lion. Hare Krishna. Now Jai Gauranga Prabhu has come here. Maybe heard in the ether that if you join back to basics and turn on your camera today, you'll be asked to say something. So maybe he wants to say something.
Dandavats Maharaj, I can say something if you would like me to.
Yes, not too long, because actually I only just now noticed we're a little over time. Our hour together has sped by. But yes, Jai Gauranga Prabhu. we do wish that you say something. You're in Australia still, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Dandavats Maharaj, Dandavats dear devotees. Well, in case I was asked to say something, I came with something in my pocket to
Good for
share.
you. Good
So
for you.
I've been reading the devotional treasure chest. I'm currently on chapter 6, but something I very much liked that Srila Guru Maharaj said. So Guru Maharaj here, he's talking about sound in this one part, and he says, we can only perceive the middle part of the spectrum. Similarly, if a sound is very deep, our ear cannot grasp it, and if a sound is very high, our ear cannot catch it. Our ear can function only within the limitation of a central sound range. Everything which is above or below our sense perception is of no use to us. So Krishna appears to us in the middle in so many ways. He appears to us in a certain color, a certain figure. He appears in the sound as the name Krishna. He appears for the eye experience as the deity, for the ear experience as the name, for the tongue experience. He appears as prasadam. In different ways, our senses can have a corresponding relationship with him. And this reminds me of in Pramadama Deva Stotram, I think it's verse 4, Guru Maharaj says, Shanti Purya Desha Kalya Dharma Dukkha Dushaham Jiva Dukkha Hana Bhakta Sokyadana Vigraham Kali Oghanasa Krishna Nama Sidhu Sancharam Prema Dharma Devameva Nomi Gora Sundaram. And the translation to that is, very briefly, he's saying he could not bear to see his devotee Advaita Prabhu, Lord of Shantipur, in misery over the pitiable condition of the Kali Yuga, which has been overtaken by irreligious philosophies. He therefore appeared in a Vigraha form in order to relieve the Jiva from his misery, award happiness to his devotee, and destroy the venom of Kali by profusely distributing the nectar of Krishna's names. I sing with with joy the unending glories of my golden Gaura Sundar, the beautiful, the one and only divine abode of pure love. That last part reminds me a little bit of that. So that's my 2 cents or 2 rupees worth of contribution. I hope it's acceptable.
Maybe it's 2 Chintamani stones of contribution.
Oh dear.
Jai. Okay, what a beautiful way to end our beautiful gathering today. And we appreciate very much Jai Gauranga Prabhu. And actually, I was just reminded recently of that expression we used to use, and I haven't used it for a long time. It is good if you come with something in your pocket ready to share, because we're all engaged in sadhana, as we were reminded about earlier today. And as we do sadhana, things jump out at us practically every day. So it's not that we're looking in a dry heap of straw for something. We're looking in a very rich garden for some flowers to come and to give. All right. Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rock of Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. All the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha. Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So on
Jai
Facebook.
Srila BR Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
on Facebook and on Zoom and in the recorded version, those of you who are with us. Repeated obeisances, repeated appreciation, and hoping to give repeated encouragement to keep on going. We're on the journey, and one day let us all meet up at the destination. Hare Krishna, Ami Ashchi, Govinda Govinda. And you can all stay together if you wish. I know it's late in Thailand, but there we are. Okay, I'm coming, Ami Ashchi.